Welcome back. Let's talk about slope-intercept form, which is the form of a line y equals mx plus b. In this formula we have two big parts, m, which is our slope, and b, which is our y-intercept. So the y-intercept of a line is the point at which it passes through the y-axis. And you can always identify the y-intercept because it's the point that has x-coordinate 0. And so whenever x is 0, that's our y-axis, and we want to know what our value is at that point. So this is one of the most common forms of a line, and students often use this form to figure out the equation of a line. So what I'm going to do in this video is walk through a few examples where we'll see some different pieces of information that we could have and how we can use those pieces of information to find the equation of a line. So in the first example that I have here, I'm being asked to find the equation of a line with slope 5 passing through the point 0, negative 3. Now this is basically everything that I could ever hope for in getting information about a line. So I'm given the slope, I don't have to compute anything, and I'm given the y-intercept, which is 0, negative 3. So in this case, everything is laid out for us, and if I have this information, I really would like to use the slope-intercept form because basically all I have to do is plug in my numbers. Now, the information that I get here is I get 5. This right here is m. So m is our slope. And we always use that letter for slope. So slope is equal to m. And then if I come over here, I'm given a very special point. I have the x-coordinate 0, so I know my y-intercept is negative 3. And so this is my b value. Well, in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to plug in my numbers. So my outputs are y is equal to my slope, which is 5, times x plus my y-intercept, which is negative 3. So if I look at this, y equals mx plus b, 5 times x plus negative 3, well, I can clean that up a little bit, and I can see that this becomes y equals 5x minus 3. So if I'm given all this information, if I'm given the slope and I'm given the y-intercept, then slope-intercept form is a very, very nice way for me to find the equation of a line. Now with that said, I don't necessarily need all of this information. I can be given just any 2 points and use this form to find the equation of a line. So that's what I'm going to do in our next example. I'm going to pause here for a second and we'll come back with a new example. All right, and we're back with our new example. Find an equation of the line passing through these 2 points, 2, 5 and 4, 9. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about finding the equation of a line, and the first thing that I want to do is write down my formula that I want to use. So since we're talking about slope-intercept form, I'm going to write this down, y equals mx plus b, and what this tells me is I need 2 pieces of information. I need to know what my slope is. Right, so the first thing I need to do is find my slope, which is my m, and then the second thing I need to do is find my y-intercept, which is b. Okay, so in our past videos, we spent a lot of time talking about slope, and what we found was that we can use the formula for slope, change in output over change in input, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So if we come over here, I am going to, I'll call this x1, y1. Okay, so that'll be my first point, and I'll call this x2, y2. That'll be my second point. Okay, so y2, in this case it looks like it's equal to 9, and y1 is equal to 5. Then x2 is equal to 4, and x1 is equal to 2. Doing out my computation here, 9 minus 5, that's 4, divided by 4 minus 2. 4 minus 2 is 2, so I get 4 divided by 2, and 4 divided by 2 is equal to 2. Well, in this case, I have M, and now I need to find B. Well, let's go ahead and let's put in a little bit of information. So my form was this. It was y equals mx plus b, but I don't need m anymore, so I know what m is. So let's go ahead and let's get rid of this m, and let's plug in what I had. So I had a 2 over here. So I had 2, which is my slope. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plug 2 in down here. So my new form is y equals 2x plus b. And what I need to do is try to figure out what is b. Well, I have some information. So I have a point 2, 5, and I have another point 4, 9. So what this does is it gives me an input-output pair. So into this equation, I know if I plug in the number 2, I should get an output of 5. And if I plug in the number 4, I should get an output of 9. So it doesn't matter which point that I pick. I'm going to go ahead and choose 2, 5 since it's the first one, and I'm going to plug that into my equation and see what I get. So I'm going to take 2, 5, and we have that above in red. So 2, 5, and I'm going to plug it in for my x's and my y's. So let's give ourselves some more space here. Let's plug in 2, 5. So 2 goes in for x, that's our input, and 5 goes in for y, that's our output. So I get 5 is equal to 2 times, well, x is 2, so 2 times 2 plus b. So 5 is equal to 2 times 2 plus b. Well, the only thing that's missing here is b. So if I put all my numbers together, I should be able to figure out what b is. And so 5 stays by itself on the left. 2 times 2 is 4. So I get 5 is equal to 4 plus b. And then if I subtract 4 on both sides, I get 1 is equal to b. Okay, so b is equal to 1. I had m is equal to 2. And so I can put a few things together here. I'm going to say I have y is equal to 2x plus b, and I have b equal to 1 down here. Let's go ahead and put both of these two pieces together. And what I get is y is equal to 2 times x plus 1. And so this is the final piece. This is the equation of the line that passes through our 2 points. Let's go ahead and go up. Let's see, our points were 2, 5, and 4, 9, and we should have that satisfying equation, y equals 2x plus 1. So if we check, if I plug in 2, so if I come up here, I see I have 2, 5. So if I plug in 2 for x, I would get 2 times 2 plus 1, which is 5, which is great. And then if I think about 4, 9, if I plug in 4, I get 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1, which is 9. And so we see that it satisfies our equation. So this process that I just went through here, the first thing I did is I found my slope. And then the second thing I did is I took one of my points and I plugged it in and solved for b, and that gave me my y-intercept to get the final form of my equation, y equals 2x plus 1. So I hope this helps, and I'll see you next time.